Hello. Yeah. It's about you as well, I think. My name is Graham Currie. I'm Australia's first Professor of Public Transport. Now, how did that happen? Well, my background is in geography, but I have a PhD in engineering from Monash University as well. I have really spent my career working with industry which is not terribly advanced, frankly, public transport systems around the world. I'm English originally, came to Australia, really was headhunted as someone who works in the field, and we needed to be more advanced. I think a big part of my background as well is I've spent a lot of time in strategic management consulting, which I learned a lot about how you've got to really simplify the message for the CEO because they really haven't got the time. And I think we do spend too much time dealing with detail, and we need to make things easier for people to understand. So my expertise is in research. I find stuff out, and in particularly cross-disciplinary research. But why should you guys be interested in public transport? It's not about trains, trams, and buses. It's about cities. Since 2007, most human beings on Earth lives in cities, and by 2030, that population will double. We have a gigantic urban growth problem. And it is a crisis, in my opinion. Congestion in Australia, which luckily, as a share of our GDP, has some of the highest congestion costs. We have terrible urban form, which really creates the problem. It's renowned to be a $16 billion problem at the moment, expected to be $30 billion by 2030. And there are some significant social issues. Delighted to hear this morning that ATSE is considering looking into those issues, and I do completely agree that technology is there for everybody. It's not just there for the rich young guys and the cast of friends. What am I doing for this? Well, my industry is not terribly advanced, and we publish a lot. But I've developed a website for the industry to go to make it easier for them to access research. They don't have a lot of time, industry, to do this. And so we've made agreements with all the publishers to put the research on there. So we have a one-stop shop, and we have over 8,500 authorities from around the world using it. My research group is top 3 in the world from a European study. We research every aspect of this, and cross-disciplinary research is a big part of what we do. I think I'm the only chair in the Australian chair in the Transportation Research Board. I run a standing committee in light railways, and also I'm on the Research Advisory Board for Singapore, the Land Transport Authority, and they are doing an awful lot in new technologies. So maybe I can leverage that. I run the largest group of PhD students in the world, I think, specializing in this. It's called the Sustainable and Effective Public Transport Graduate Research Industry Program. 18 PhD students studying lots of different aspects of public transport. Each one of them is embedded with industry, and industry is really bought into this. I'm an industry chair. I'm a pracademic. I'm here to try and make some real changes rather than write irrelevant research papers that nobody reads. But I do write a lot of them, which is why I speak. I do a lot of public speaking because I really believe the job is to convince the public and industry, and let's face it, government. And there's me in Guadalajara, Mexico, talking about social exclusion some years ago. And in fact, ATSE is a very efficient organization. Not only they already given me a job, but they had me speaking to Parliament in Victoria last year. What's our impact? We work on light railways with all the operators around the world. I have a kind of a dual life. I work in social exclusion and disadvantage. And my first job, I came to Australia when I was working with 7,000, 8,000 buses in London. My first job was to put one bus into Alice Springs and spend some time with the Aboriginal community there, understanding their needs. So I've done a lot of work with small communities, trying to get them to use the technologies that are available in practice. But ironically, I've also worked with some of the biggest events in history. In 1996, I worked on the Atlanta Olympic Games transport plan. And during that event, we made some discoveries about how you can reorganize cities. And we've been applying that in all of the Summer Olympic Games since then. And we also worked on the Hajj pilgrimage in Mecca. And also in practice, in fact, near here, you'll see the new light railway being built in George Street. We had a big part in that, and also we did the foundation work, scoping out the idea of what we would need in Melbourne for the future. So Melbourne Metro is one of our projects. We designed the idea anyway. So what's my contribution? I'm interested in humans, not technology, frankly. And I think technology, if we're going to be successful, has to think about humans. And the best technology, when you think about it, has. So that's my hope, is the human's perspective. Human-focused technology, technology without the hype. By that I mean that we naturally need to sell these things to government, but we shouldn't oversell them as well, because we'll raise expectations, and if they're not met, people will start wondering about us. I think advanced engineering is human-focused. Simple messages from science is what we need to explain things to people. So I think it's about technology, science, and engineering that works better. And thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to it.